Over the weekend, one political party all across states in Nigeria held congresses. However, one party in some states had multiple party chairmen as a result of multiple congresses. Talking about the All Progressives Congress, APC state congresses. And that's how I welcome you to today's edition of the program Political Arena. Ogenekaro Arwakbo is my name. We'll go now to the news roundup. Veteran political strategists and special advisors on legislative and plenary matters on political affairs to the Deputy President of the Senate, Ovioma Agege, Elder Omeni Sobote, has been elected as Delta State Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Sobote was elected alongside 35-man executive to run the affairs of the party during Saturday Congress of the party held in Asaba, the Delta State capital. The Congress was attended by party chieftains including Senator Omo Agege, Senate Committee Chairman on Niger Delta, Peter Nwabushi, founding leader of the party in the state, Olurogun Otega Emero, Francis Waive, representing Udu and Ugeli constituency at the House of Representatives, among others. However, the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Olurogun Festus Keyamo, San, and others loyal to his camp were conspicuously absent at the Congress. The officers were elected unopposed by affirmation of the accredited delegates from the 25 local government areas through voice notes. Chairman of the Delta State APC Congress Committee, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, led other 6 members of the committee to conduct the Congress, which was observed by officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, with heavy presence of security operatives. In his acceptance speech, Sobote thanked the party and the delegates for the opportunity to serve, assuring that the party was set for victory in the 2023 general elections in Delta State. At least 50 vehicles parked around the Jogo Center, Ibadan, where the Mrs. Mulikat Adeola Akande-led faction of the People's Democratic Party held its state congress on Saturday, were vandalized by hoodlums. The hoodlums and their squads, armed with sticks and machetes, were however prevented by security agents from entering the venue of the Congress. It was gathered that the hoodlums had earlier attacked the venue of the parallel Congress held at an event center around the Okeado area of Ibadan. Sources said the first attack happened at about 2 a.m. 2 aggrieved PDP leaders in the state, Alhaji Nureni Akambi and Alhaji Bisi Olopueya, confirmed the attack to our correspondent. The crisis rocking the opposition All Progressives Congress in Akwa Ibom State came to the fore on Saturday, as there are indications that more than 3 chairmen of the party emerged from the parallel congresses held at various locations in the state. It was gathered from unconfirmed sources that the group loyal to Bishop Akma, another APC chieftain in the state, held its separate congress, bringing the number of congresses in the state to 4. The other 3 factions are those of the Niger Delta Affairs Minister, Senator Gatswill Akpabio, Senator Ita Enang, and that of National Secretary of the Caretaker Committee, Senator John Akpanu Duedehe. Akpabio's faction held its congress at the Kara Event Center situated along the Goodluck Jonathan Boulevard, Uyo, while Akpanu Duedehe's own was held at the Shea Grace Event Center, also in Uyo, the state capital. It was gathered that the Congress Committee from Abuja, led by Honorable Sheriff Banki, monitored the Congress held by Akpanu Duedehe's faction only. Akpabio's group elected Mr. Steve Ntukekbo as its state chairman. Mr. Hostin Ekanem emerged as chairman of Akpanu Duedehe's faction, while Mr. Douglas Pepple was elected for the Senator Ita Enang's group. Action Democratic Party has announced its return to the Inter-Party Advisory Council from which it broke out. ADP opted out of IPAC after its 19th NWC meeting in July 2020 on claims of anti-party activities by some of its members. ADP National Secretary Victor Fingesi made this known in a statement issued on Saturday in Abuja saying that the National Working Committee, having reviewed its earlier decision to suspend its membership of IPAC, has decided to resume its full membership status at IPAC. He said all national officers and state chairmen of our great party are by this notice directed to fully participate in the activities of IPAC at various chapters. The Igbo in the diaspora, and the Pan-Niger Delta Forum have vowed to resist any attempt to rig the Anambra State governorship election scheduled for November 6. They urged stakeholders involved in the conduct of the election to ensure that the poll was free, fair, and devoid of intimidation. They stated this during a Zoom conference organized by a rights group, Civil Society Committee for Anti-Fraud Election Security. The Igbo in the diaspora and Pandef leaders, including chairman of World Igbo Congress, Professor Anthony Ejiofor, his World Igbo Assembly counterpart, Dr. Nwachukwu Anakwenze, and the publicity secretary of Pandef, Ken Robinson, who spoke from the United States of America and Germany, opined that the violence in the state was politically motivated. While condemning the bloodletting in the state ahead of the poll, they alleged that certain external forces were planning to impose a governor on the state at all costs. Yes, just to end the news, I'll remind you of the captions. First, we took the story of Omeni Sobote emerges as Delta APC chairman, and hoodlums attack Oyo PDP leaders, cars vandalized, 2 chairmen emerge. And the third story we took was APC parallel congresses, 3 factional chairmen emerge in Akwa Ibom. ADP returns to mother party, IPOC. And Anambra poll, Igbo in diaspora, Pandef vow to resist rigging. At this point, we're going on a very quick break, and when we return, it will be time to join our guests on the program, Political Arena. Don't go nowhere. Guys, welcome back. Remember, the program is Political Arena, where we illustrate happenings, occurrences, events in the Nigerian political space. At this point, we have in the studio with us Comrade Mike Ikyogu, who is the chairman of NUJ Delta State Council. Welcome on board.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
My pleasure being here.
Yes, and we equally have Comrade Felix Eko, who is the Assistant Secretary of NUJ at Delta State Council. Welcome on board.
Thank you. That is Felix Eko.
Felix Eko. Okay, correction noted. Thank you. Okay, let's start in very quickly this morning. I'd like to get the reaction of the chairman of the state NUJ to what happened in Oyo State regarding the PDP Congress. Violence and having two chairmen.
Well, that is what we are seeing in Nigerian politics today. Everybody wants to lead, even when they are not prepared well. I can't imagine where the state cannot organize themselves to have a smooth outing. Violence everywhere. We give glory to God that it didn't go beyond what we saw on that particular Saturday. But that having two chairmen is another issue that they have to, find a way to resolve, because I know that with the scenario, the party is already in turmoil, and other political parties may lash on it. The challenge we have today is the youth that have become instruments of chaos in every political period. So the violence we saw there was perpetrated by the youth, and if you ask me, until we realize that the youth should not be used as political talks to disrupt smooth running of our democracy, we won't go anywhere. At the end of the day, those youths that perpetrated that act will be given peanut. When we are campaigning that you should take over the politics of the political space of Nigeria, I think we must condemn that act and condemn it to the highest level. It's anti-democratic principle.
Okay, Comrade Felix Eko, I'd like to get your reaction on the same issue.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised with what happened on Saturday across.
At Oyo State specifically, with the PDP.
You talk about Oyo State.
Yes.
You cannot isolate that of
we'll come to the others, but let's start from there.
Because the same thing, almost the same thing played out in other states. But like I said, and of course the chairman has also noted the fact that the acts were perpetrated by youths. But beyond that, I'm also not surprised with what happened. The parallel executive and all that is expected. PDP had its own fair share of it when they had sway at the national level. You see, when a party is at the national level controlling power and all that, of course, a lot of persons who want to to have a fair share of what the national cake is all about. So it's expected. Most persons want key political players, they want to identify with the party at the center for now.
No, and, okay, Comrade Felix Eko, before we go there, considering the fact that in Oyo State, the governor is a PDP member and is a governor in the state, yet the state had parallel congresses in a state that has a governor.
On those states,
no, Oyo State, Sheyi Makinde is the governor and is a PDP member, now having parallel congresses under his watch.
No, the fact that you are a governor does not mean that you are the driver. So
okay.
People made the governor. Key stakeholders came together to make him as the governor of that state. That does not make him to have the machinery of the party in that state. See, there are two different things. You can be a governor and you are not
in charge
of the
political
machinery
structure
in your state. And of course, when you call, it's expected. In the Machiavelli theory, of course, you cannot rule that out. Those who bring you to power, you want to crush them. And of course, if they organize themselves, they will, of course, they will get you out of the way. So the governor will, of course, if he's not coming back for a second term, we want to produce a successor. And of course, the power play issue, of course, is what we are experiencing.
Okay, so Comrade Mike, do you agree with him in saying that despite the fact that there are two congresses in Oyo State, it doesn't mean the governor is out of touch?
No, I want to say that so many things may be responsible for that. If as a sitting governor of your state, you are not in charge. You cannot hold the party and bring them together. It means you are not in charge. That is the summary of it. Because if the governor, we are not talking of main election now, we are talking of party primaries.
Yes.
I know that this is where it starts. Because everybody wants to put his supporter, his loyalists, so that when the decisions are to be made, they will now make decisions in your favor. If the governor did not play his card well, that is what we has played out there. He is not in charge. Because you can't be in charge of a state like that, where you have not only having the power, you have the resources to mobilize wherever you need to mobilize. And your party is in disarray. The governor should have a rethink. He may not have the opportunity to produce his successors successfully.
He still has a second term to go.
You don't need to blame the governor. That the fact that he's the governor, the security officer, he has the resources. Don't forget our own Delta State. We had a governor who could not produce a successor. His own successor. When the chiefs were down, the key players told him that we are in charge, and they came together, they rallied together, and they defeated him at the party primaries.
Let me say something. We are not talking of what is it called? Primaries to produce a governor. We are not talking of election. We are talking of Congress.
That is where it starts.
Take for instance what happened.
Who are those?
Take for instance what happened in our state.
Yes.
You saw when people were saying that the present PDP chairman is not from Saple. He should go to his place and blah blah blah. That it is Sapleston. But the governor of Delta State heads way and ensured that he resolved the problem amicably, and the former chairman of the party returned. That is what I'm saying. We are not talking of
that he had his way then does not mean that you have his way come 2022.
No, we are not talking of 2020. We are talking of
the Congress right
now. Just recently. You understand? So we are not talking of 2023 now. We are talking of how our own governor was able to call everybody together and ensure that the man he want to be had his way.
You are not part of the.
No, I am not. We are talking from what we saw. I'm not part of it.
So, Comrade Felix, do you still want to react to that? I mean, he has said if the party had double congresses, despite having a governor, then the governor is not in touch. Is not in charge.
No, yes, you can be governor and you are not in control of the party. You were brought in based on certain considerations to move the state forward. And if after doing your bit, you leave for others to come.
As soon as you emerge, the governor of the state become the party leader of the party.
Can we say that? Can we say the same for Edo State, where the governor jumped ship from the ruling All Progressives Congress to the PDP, and after getting their platform, we see what's going on. There's a lot of tussle for leadership in the party. If it doesn't matter at all, why do we have that going on in Edo State?
No, the Edo State is a different scenario. Of course, you have very recently development surrounding his deputy, and of course he has to play cool too, because you see he's on a missionary to PDP. He's on a missionary, and that missionary journey is something that, of course, for him, if with the way he has been able to moderate the party at its level, and of course he can hold sway too. So there are two different scenarios. It depends on the key players in that state.
I can understand when you say that two different scenarios. We are talking of a governor who cannot organize his party to have a smooth primary. When you are in charge, when you are in charge of that state. If Obaseki is not having total control of PDP now, they would have done something terrible to him. You understand? He was able to do it in APC and carry that toga to PDP. When they were shouting here, shouting Blue Mother, he said, "Come, we will organize ourselves and get the party together." And that is what he has succeeded in doing in Edo State. Are you still hearing problem that PDP is this and blah blah blah? Somebody want to. That is it.
It's a give and take thing. It's not a winner takes it all thing. We say when you have a governor who wants to dictate from the bottom, from the up
Everything.
to the bottom, then they say no. They will tell you no. That is not how it should be. They may allow you to succeed now, but they will ambush you along the line. So it's something that some of these governors, they need to look at how their party they belong in their respective states, how it can be self-sustaining beyond their selfish interest.
Okay, Comrade Felix Eko, I've not heard you talked about the violence that happened in your state as a result of that Congress. In the two Congresses that was held, incidents of violence, destruction of vehicles were recorded.
well, at first I condemn that as an individual. At this stage in our democratic evolution, we should not be having such cases. But again, they say when two elephants fight, it's the grass that will suffer. And of course, my amiable chairman has said that youths were the ones who were used to perpetrate that act. So until the youths too realize the fact that they are just being given peanuts, crumbs, and stay away from violence, the better for all of us.
Okay, it's a matter of the youths. Who are you as a youth? Are you only good at perpetrating violence for politicians? We're going on a very quick break right now on the program, and when we return, it will be time to go into our topic of discuss proper. Do stay with us. It is still the program Political Arena. It's reaching you live this morning on DRTV. And I still have with me in the studio Comrade Mike Ikeogu and Comrade Felix Eko. Right now, let's go into the APC congresses we had. Let's even begin with the one in our very state, in our own state, Delta State. Comrade Felix Eko, you seem to be pro-APC. What happened with your your Congress?
I'm not pro APC. I belong to all political parties.
And you belong to none.
You see, if you ask me, I will say that I'm very happy with the way it went in Delta State. You recall that before the Congress, there were threats of boycott. There were issues of. There were so many issues and political intrigues and all that. But in all, they say Delta not the carry last, worry not the carry last. That of Delta was rancor free. Even though we had some persons who didn't show up, but they didn't send their boys to go and disrupt
the process
proceedings at what do you call it now, Federal College Technical Asaba, the venue for the Congress. So I would say that to a very large extent, the leadership of the APC in Delta has been able to organize themselves and ensure that we had a rancor free. Of course, I was glad to see one of the founding members, Otega or Mero, at that venue, and goes to show that there are a lot of mending offenses as far as going forward. So that it was rancor free, unexpected or so many. A lot of persons predicted that some funny things will happen on that day, but to God be the glory. Or many Sobotier, political strategist, of course, former commissioner in Delta State, emerged as the state chairman of the party.
Okay, Comrade Mike, do you agree with him?
Well, I will allude to the fact that it was peaceful anyway. But it was peaceful because we have two factions in the state. One faction deliberately stayed away.
No, I don't know what you mean by faction.
Let's hear
You
here.
boycotted the Congress.
Individual
I said
leaders.
a group. There was a statement before that day that some persons, some stakeholders, some leaders will not participate in that Congress. And I want to say that was the reason the thing went smoothly. If they had come there with their own supporters and talks, maybe something else could have happened. So I want to say that it was because some certain persons stayed away. That was why the likes of
perhaps they saw the handwriting. They saw the handwriting.
we are not talking of the handwriting there now. I'm telling you the reason why our own was peaceful. You understand me? So whether they saw the
That is
handwriting
your own
or not,
understanding.
not understanding. Some people stayed their way. You understand me? So
You know, when you know that
Okay,
when you get to the contest on that day, you be defeated, and you start to. You remember that of NUJ? We had an election in Umaya, and of course, the main challenger to the incumbent national president of NUJ stepped down 24 hours or pulled out or what have you, and did not show up on that.
presenter, you understand what I'm saying?
So it's a different. So considering defeat is part of.
We started with, if the other faction has stayed away, another faction would have had their smooth sail.
Yeah.
But because they were all on ground agitating for who will take over, that was what caused that crisis. So maybe in the wisdom of the other faction, they said, rather than going there to fight, let's go and look at another alternative. We don't know what they are going to come up with tomorrow. So they have stayed away, and they have a peaceful Congress by one faction. So what will happen after now is what I don't know.
No, but what we know, what we know, so that is in public domain, is not of a faction producing a chairman in Delta State. I want to be corrected.
Okay.
I want to be corrected. There was a delegate sent by the national leadership of APC, led by a senator, Ajibola Bashiru. It led a 6-man committee to Delta State to conduct. There was no other committee. We didn't
Just
have
one.
2 committees that came to Delta. So if you say you are a member of APC, you are a stakeholder, and you want to be part of the Congress, and of course you ought to be in Federal College Technical Asaba for the venue of that. If you decide to stay away, it is your own personal headache.
Okay, Comrade Felix Eko, while talking about the issue earlier, you said that although there were threats of boycott, but nothing like that happened. But then we saw the likes of the Minister of State for Labor, Festus Keyamo, boycotting the Congress. Is that not boycott?
No. Let me even ask
So many
you.
of them.
Let me ask you. Excuse me. No, hold on. 1 minute.
Wait.
Okay, my chairman.
The great Veji Ogburu was not there. The former speaker of Delta State House Assembly, Right Honorable Victor Oche, was not there. Karo Jugbo was not there. The Minister of Labor of State,
Festus Keyamo
was not there, and a host of others. So that is why I said they boycotted, and that was what gave the peaceful
atmosphere to the Congress.
You understand? So where you are saying that what
No.
Let's allow him react to that.
Boycotted.
No, let me. No, you mentioned Festus Keyamo.
Yes, I did.
With due respect to the senior
Minister.
advocate of Nigeria, when it comes to actual politicking, when it comes to party politics, for me personally, I would regard him as a neophyte. When it comes to the politics of APC. Are you getting me now? So if someone like Festus Keyamo is boycotting when the big boys in the party were present as a Federal College Technical Asaba, is it significant?
Some people might agree with you on saying, fine, the man is a newcomer in the Delta State APC. How about the likes of the 2019 governorship flag bearer of the party, Chief Oveji Ogboru?
But he has been an unstable governorship candidate in Delta State.
Comrade Felix Eko, you see why I said earlier that you seem to be pro APC?
No. I'm not saying the people we're talking about APC.
Yes.
I'm talking about the individuals in APC.
Yeah.
And we must be honest with ourselves based on the available facts that we have. Ogboru, yes, fine. He has been contesting as governor, of course, since when you know it in Delta State. And of course, if he feels that the stage is not ripe for him as far as APC is concerned in Delta State, don't be surprised. He has been one who has been contesting all the years. You will see him contest under another political party. Come 2023, it's a thing of choice.
Okay. I don't know.
Recall, I also told you that APC had its fair share, rather PDP years back.
Had its fair share.
When PDP had sway at the national. This was how its own state congresses were characterized by parallel executives and all that, you know. So it's about power play.
Yeah,
it's about people coming to want to be part of the process, believing that at the end of the day, 2023, the center will play key role in their emergence in whatever political aspiration that they are in.
Okay, the program is still Political Arena. If you'd like to join the discuss, if you'd like to join the conversation, the number for you to call to be a part of this conversation will be displayed on your screen shortly. So please do keep the calls coming. Yes, let's come over to Comrade Mike right now. Let's go to Akwa Ibom State APC Congress. They had, as a matter of fact, close to 4 parallel congresses within one state, 4 chairmen. What's going on?
Well, in Nigerian political terrain, ideologies don't prevail. What everybody is struggling for is to belong and have the share of our common patrimony. I think that is why everybody is struggling to be at the helm of affairs, where decision will be taken. Such a party that have 4 parallel congresses producing 4 different chairmen
in one state
will not go far. I think that they're just helping the PDP there to balkanize themselves more. That is my take. Until we begin to realize that it is not all about myself, it's all about individual, it's about the collective bargain of all of us. We won't get our democratic practice right. What everybody is fighting for is in their pockets. What stops us from coming together to resolve? Okay, since we the state we have only 1 chairman, let's produce 1. Why are they producing 4 chairmen at the same time? It's very, very inimical to the growth of our politics.
Okay, Felix.
I'm happy for that of Akwa Ibom. On a lighter note, I would say that I'm happy with the statement by the Minister
Niger Delta.
for State Niger Delta, Godswill
Akpabio.
He summed it up by saying that they are going to resolve. That they will resolve. That it's a family affair. You see, it's a thing of every leader, key players in their respective states wanting to have a stake, wanting to be part of the process, the decision process come 2023. And with what has played out, in their various states, they'll go back to a drawing board. They will sit back and begin to harmonize. So in Akwa Ibom State, yes, they may have had 4 chairmen produced. Of course, that will tell you that in that state, you have the other stakeholders in the party in Akwa Ibom, as far as it is concerned, they have also been able to demonstrate power, demonstrate their will, demonstrate their commitment. Not to allow Akpabio to just have it all. That he is now he's a minister and what have you. There were people who he came to meet in APC. Recall that he was in PDP for several years. For several years, and he joined APC, jumped ship, joined APC, and of course he can't just come to APC in Akwa Ibom and have his way. So at the appropriate time, the stakeholders there will meet, they will harmonize. Who will produce chairman, who will produce secretary, who will produce this and all that. You can't just outwit people like that so easily and just think that they will not.
If the problem was Akpabio, I think they would have only 2 camps. Akpabio camp and listen now, Akpabio camp and the other camp. Akpabio is not the issue. Because Akpabio couldn't have produced 3 chairmen, while the main APC will produce 1. It shows that the party is divided already. When you talk of harmonization, after every political outing, there's no peace that will bring that will resolve as if there were no crisis before. That bickering, that jealousy, that hatred will still linger for a long time. That is why in party politics, you see different blocks coming together. When the chiefs are there, the block that came together to form one political structure will go back in-house and say this is what we want to do at this particular time. The problem we are seeing in in
Akwa Ibom.
Akwa Ibom may linger for a long time.
You see, in politics, it's all about permanent interests. It's permanent interests. Are you getting me? So,
Okay, let's take this contribution. I'll like continue after this. Hello. Hello. Okay, looks like we have quite a network challenge right now. If that was you, please do well to join us again by calling back. Yeah, Comrade Felix.
like I said, it's permanent interest. And like I said, at the appropriate time, they will reconcile their various interests based on what they stand to gain. And of course,
we have a contributor here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my name is Sadiq Musa.
Okay, Sadiq Musa, please, where are you calling from?
By the grace of God, I'm the Federal Commissioner South representing the people in the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria.
Okay.
I'll be following to your program on the election contested in my state. And I think it is a good avenue to pass the message or pass the message straight. That election, to the best of my knowledge and the leadership of the party, is free and fair. You cannot expect somebody who didn't buy from, like, let's say, for example, your friend is studio now. Will just carry the chairmanship to go and give to you. No, you back. They contest the election, and the people from the local government and what voted for them. That is what you saw there. So if anybody says that the election is so free and fair, well, how would they classify it as a free and fair election when you didn't buy a form, or if you have an interest, you didn't vote for your own people to participate in the election? This doesn't go well, and I strongly believe those people who emerge are people who should have confidence on them, because politically they have good record to show in the past. So let them just allow it to go for peace to reign. And again, on all other states, Delta is among the states that the national is giving kudos to, that they perform peaceful election to produce a result, unlike Kano, Imo, and other states. So the election, to the best of our knowledge in Delta State, is peaceful and fair election. So we should accept it in good faith. Those who didn't participate should join forces to see how we'll be able to bring good dividends of democracy to the people. So by arguing, we will not get to where we are intended to be. That is my only two contribution.
Thank you very much, Sadiq Musa, for joining us this morning. Yes, Comrade Mike, I'd like you to react to this. I mean, he has said that those who felt aggrieved and did not participate should just accept it in good faith. Do you see that happening?
Well, it's nobody. Let me make a an impression. Nobody has said here that the election was not free and fair. Always said that some people boycotted. You understand? So that gave the free and fair and smooth outing that we had. For me, the decision to either agitate more or not to agitate lies in the hands of those who boycotted. But it will give glory to God that our youth were not used as thugs to disrupt the process on Saturday. So, if you may ask me, I will also lend my voice to Musa, that those who didn't participate should see this election as their own and come back and see how they can build the party. Because if they continue to stay by the sideline, they begin to agitate, go to court and all that, I don't think they will be able to have a strong, a strong opposition that everybody's agitating for in the state. So they should come together, join forces with those who have emerged, and see how they can reposition the party to become stronger before 2023.
in fact, that is my main concern. This idea of almost a one-party state data is not helping us. So the leaders, followers, supporters in APC, they should move ahead. Saturday has come and gone. They should all come together to give the PDP in Delta State a very strong opposition. Of course, without a strong opposition, the party in power will stop. So that is what I expect from them.
Okay, let's go over to Lagos State right now, where sadly one would wonder double factions in Lagos State APC. But then it is true, we had that over the weekend, the Ambode faction and that of the governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Comrade Felix Eko, you seem to be very concerned about the APC, if not pro-APC, like you said.
No.
Regardless.
First, I'm a journalist, and of course, with that advantage, we have information at our fingertips on happenings, of course, around. For that of Lagos State, I would say that it was also expected.
Expected?
Yes. Of course, you recall what happened to Ambode, how I didn't get his
return ticket.
Ticket. I didn't return. And of course, you know the process that led to the present governor coming on board. And of course, they also, in Lagos State right now, a faction or a group within the APC that are saying that enough is enough. The Jagaban, that he has had his way for too long, and they want to give him a fight. It is still the same political children that he has brought up over the years. Some are saying no, it can't continue that way. So that was what played out in Lagos on Saturday. So other than that, with the supreme leader, if I use that phrase, giving the direction, before now everybody would just queue behind, like
they did in Ambode's primary.
Yes. So, but the only thing that is constant in life is change, and of course, the faction is saying that we can't continue to go this way, and that was what played out. But I think at the end of the day, the group that I think from my political experience that will have the way will depend on what the center is saying at the present moment.
Okay, Comrade Mike, do you see this as the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, losing grip of his stronghold?
Yes, I think when you don't allow your children to exercise their franchise, that is what you get. If you recall, like my fellow comrade here said, during the primaries that led to Sanwo-Olu emerging, they stifled Ambode, and I don't think that went down well with him. So he has gone back to the group and tell them, well, we can't continue this way. If we don't fight this fight now, all of us may end up not exercising our franchise as we progress. So Tinubu should realize that being the leader, you should be the leader for everybody and give them a enabled platform to exercise their rights. If you have 5-6 candidates that are coming out, allow them to go. Let the people decide who will lead them. Breathing down on people every moment will not help the politics to grow. And if care is not taken, we'll start losing grip over the people we had control for a long time. That is what I see. The earlier he begins to retreat by allowing people to exercise their franchise while playing the fatherly role he's playing, the better for him. If not, before 2023, we see more division in APC in other states that he really have control.
Okay, Comrade Felix.
It's a major challenge for now. I would say beating a retreat is too late because of his 2023 presidential ambition. And of course, with that kind of ambition, he cannot let go. He will find it very difficult to let go. And of course, if he cannot control his home, that would be a very, very, very bad testimony for him going forward as far as 2023 is concerned. So yes, he needs to realize his age is aging rather, and the earlier he allows some of these younger ones to come to the stage and decide for themselves, the better.
Okay, we've talked about states where we had major issues in the APC. Let's go over to Cross River State now, where the governor, Ben Ayade, who recently cross-shipped from the PDP to the APC, seemed to really hold sway. I mean, they had a peaceful Congress. I'll start with Comrade Mike this time.
That takes me to Oyo State when we started. And I said, if the governor is in control, no matter how, he should be able to hold his people together and make a decision on where they should go, even if it's not going to lord anybody over them. Anyade is a very young person in APC, and if he succeeded by having a smooth Congress, it shows that he's also in charge. That is what every leader should do. Wherever you go, study the terrain and carry those that the decision maker, the power brokers there, carry them along and let them know this area, your own focus, the side you want to tow, so that you won't have problem. That is what I want to give kudos to Anyade for
being able
to have a smooth Congress in his state.
Okay, Felix.
For me, that of Cross River is a little bit different from what you have in your state. You know, Cross River, like Akwa Ibom, Rivers, Bayelsa Delta, over the years were largely dominated by PDP. Again, from the records that at my disposal, Cross River, the key political players, washers in Cross River State have been in PDP. And of course, Ayade came in as a product of these leaders in PDP. Of course, you hear of Leo Imoke and all that. They were the people who brought him on board. When he came on board...
Let's take this call. Continue. Hello, good morning. Hello? Yes, please, let's hear you. What's your name? Okay, looks like we're having a network challenge.
When he came on board, he decided to say, no, I will not continue to go the way of my benefactors or those who brought him on board. And moving to APC, his entrance into APC in Cross River is more like that of a lion moving into the APC. So, and being the incumbent governor with a lot of resources too and all that, and with a party like APC that was not firmly rooted in Cross River, I think to a very large extent he was able to, he has been able to use his influence to muscle and of course to get every other person around him. And so to me that was what accounted for his smooth sail on Saturday.
Okay, just before we go, Comrade Mike, going forward, I mean 2023 general elections is just around the corner. What do you have for political parties regarding unity and posing as strong oppositions to each other?
Well, I must say that the recent step taken by the House of Representatives and the Senate to have what is it called now?
Electronic transmission of
election
results.
And the primaries, what is called the open primary, what is the term they use for
direct
that?
Primaries.
Direct primaries. I think the political parties now will begin to sit up. Because if you fail to give a level playing ground to all your members to participate, they may shift ground and go to the other party to exercise their franchise, particularly when they are popular among the people. You understand? So it's a wake-up call to all the political class to know that it's not going to be business as usual. If you want to win an election at any level, you must recognize that the people matters. And having taken this step by the National Assembly, it behoves on Nigerians to begin to realize that they have tactically returned power to us. So let's use it well. Let's not allow the political class to wink us as they were doing before. Let's discourage vote buying and ensure that the people that have the mandate, they have the people at heart, the candidates that have the people at heart will go there and represent us. By so doing, we will get the dividend of democracy more than we have gotten before, against the system where godfatherism will decide who represents us, whether the person is capable or not. We just go there. That's why some people that from our state here in the National Assembly, particularly at the House of Reps, some who have stayed there for so many years, but have not been able to stand up one day to speak. They are product of godfatherism, and if we capitalize on this new innovation, you will agree with me that the right people will go there and present us and deliver the dividend of democracy.
Okay, Comrade Felix Eku, your last word very quickly.
I've said in this program before that Nigeria is making progress democratically. And of course, gradually, we are also strengthening our democratic institutions. One of them, of course, is INEC. And of course, the National Assembly, we are glad, is waking up to the clarion call for us to advance politically. And I will tell you that from 1999, we have continued to evolve, and come 2023, it is going to be a different scenario. Nigerians are getting wiser, and if the democratic institutions are strengthened, and of course, it will be for better and for our growth and development in this country.
All right, thank you very much. And with that, we've come to the end of the program Political Arena on Monday this morning. Well, if you couldn't get the full, join us on the whole conversation, you can join the rebroadcast by 8:30 p.m. later this evening. And I would like you to know that another live episode of the program will come your way on Wednesday morning, same time, by 5 minutes past 10 a.m. So we'll come your way next time. This is where we're saying bye-bye, and I would like to appreciate the executive producer, Malcolm Oteri, and the producer, Johnson Obaseje. Ogenekaro Arwakbo is my name. Do have a nice day.
Hello, welcome to the news highlight on the hour. The Independent National Electoral Commission has said that the November 6 governorship election in Anambra State will not be postponed. Addressing media executives at the weekend in Awka, a director in the commission, Mr. Chima Duraka, debunked the claims that the election materials for the Anambra governorship election will come from Imo State. Durako disclosed that all the non-sensitive materials for the November 6 poll were already at the 21 local government areas of Anambra State. He further announced that the sensitive materials will be brought into the state a few days to the poll and stored at the Central Bank of Nigeria in the state. INEC had said that 2,525,471 voters are eligible to vote in November 6 poll. The commission said the figure comprised the 77,475 new registrants at the continuous voter registration exercise that ended on September 5. In Delta comes a report that the State Congress of the All Progressive Congress was held on Saturday, devoid of any rancor at the Federal College of Education Technical, Asaba. One-time Commissioner for Environment, Elder Omeni Sobotia, emerged State Chairman of the party to lead a 35-man executive elected through affirmation by the delegates from across the 25 local government areas of the state. The State Congress of the All Progressive Congress was held nationwide on Saturday, October 16, 2021. In Delta State, the Federal College of Education Technical Asaba, which was the venue for the State Congress, had in attendance the Deputy President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Viomo Agege, Senator Peter Nwoboshi, Olorogo Otega Emero, Chief Frank Ovie Kokori, Reverend Francis Waive, among other top leaders of the party in the state. The exercise began at about 11:49 a.m. after delegates from across the 25 local government areas in the state were accredited. Now, through a voice vote, Elder Omeni Sobotia was elected unopposed by affirmation of the accredited delegates after two of the contestants vying for the position stepped down for him. Also elected through affirmation by the delegates for the three senatorial chairmen of the party were Chief Pauline Akbeki, Delta Central, Ogweshi Adizue Iluaka, Delta North, and Mr. Austin Origoye, Delta South. Others were State Secretary Mr. Nick Ovuaporeye, State Publicity Secretary Mr. Valentine Onojego, and 30 others. Chairman of the Delta State APC Congress Committee, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, who led 6 other members of the committee to conduct the Congress, told the delegates that although the offices were unopposed, paragraph 6 of the guidelines for the Congress provided that there should be affirmative voting. The Rivers State government says 2 persons have been arrested in connection to the display of pornographic content on an electronic billboard located in the Garrison axis of Port Harcourt, Rivers State on Thursday. The acting managing director of Rivers State Signage and Advertisement Agency, Tony Okea, told newsmen that those arrested were believed to be working for the firm that owns the billboard. Okea said the agency would not fold its arms and allow advertisers to demarket the state with indecent content. The RISAA boss described the video as a nuisance and warned that advertisers must follow stipulated guidelines in their activities. Sources say some persons believed to be working for the company that owns the gigantic electronic billboard located beside the Rebisi flyover had inserted the wrong video clip, resulting in a public outcry. And that's the news highlight. Thanks for watching.
Let's react this song a little before we get down. Let's exactly know. You know we are supposed to sing this song, okay?
Weko wuye rogene. Ye, weko wuye rogene. Weko wuye rogene. Ye, weko wuye rogene. This song is an Isoko song. It says, let us give adoration to the Almighty God. Ewe wo, 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 ewe wo. Akpotu basiriti na wenu mutu mineyo ewewo. This is an Ijo song. It says, let the whole world arise to sing God's song. Hosanna.